before the poison.
Before the poison. It can mean and it will mean different things to different people. So this is PJ Harvey, Nick Cave, John Bryan, Damon Albarn. We met about 2 years ago.
2 or 3.
2 or 3 years ago. I knew Nick's work and I knew very much I wanted to work with him. And we met at a fashion show in London and we both just sort of mumbled at each other.
Well, no, it's not. I remember it slightly differently, that I came cap in hand to you and said, could I write a song for you?
Yes. And I said...
And you said, yes, darling.
I did, yes.
And that was that, really. Marianne rang me in my office in Brighton and asked me if I would write the music to 3 songs. And of course I was very excited to do that. And I think later that afternoon, out of my fax machine rolled the lyrics. And I sat down and wrote the music.
Yeah. It's in your blood, it's in your prayer. Come on baby, come over here. It's in your mouth, in your mouth, in your mouth, in your mouth. It's in your mouth, it's dirty air. It's in your breath, it's in your blood, it's in your heart, it's in your blood, it's in your heart, it's everywhere. And then really exciting, what we did with Despero was practically like a sort of duel. It was word for word. He wrote a bit and then I wrote a bit and that was really, I love doing that. That's happened very rarely to me. Happened when we wrote Guilt.
That was great. That was...
When you actually sit down head to head in the studio and basically shape the song.
Yeah.
And you have to do it really fast because the musicians are there and it has to be done, and we did it.
But for me, about Despero, the way that unfolded was really interesting because I don't think either of us really knew, or the musicians knew exactly what kind of song we were making. It just was something that grew very organically, and it took on a meaning as it was being written, if you like, rather than coming with a set of lyrics and a song. And it's very powerful because of that.
It's in your mind, it's in your heart, it's in your house, it's everywhere. It's in your prayer, it's in your prayer, it's in your blood, it's in your prayer, it's in your blood, it's in your blood, it's in your prayer, it's everywhere. It's in your heart, it's in your blood, it's everywhere.
You know, from the records you think of somebody very very serious, and you are very serious. But there is a very sort of playful side, which is lovely. Of course, he's much better looking in real life than in pictures.
Or in film, I haven't.
Yes, that's another thing.
For me, it was a pleasure to do this because I wasn't singing, for one thing. So I was just playing the piano, I'd written the songs, and helping out in the studio in there. And so, for me, I was a side man and could really relax about the whole thing, and it was just a pleasure to do it in that respect. I didn't have to carry the burden of being the singer, and had a slightly diminished responsibility when it came to the tracks themselves. So which allowed me to be much more free, I guess, than normal. And I think the song's a testament to that.
Holly came to see one of my concerts in New York, and she was sort of talking about how she'd like to work with me. So I thought, oh, I'd like to work with you. On Before the Poison, we used 2-inch tape. We didn't use computers. We didn't use any funny stuff, you know. And I felt that for this record, which is really a very serious record, I wanted it to be as absolutely straight ahead as possible.
It's hard to believe in the factory how they made you
and they made me, made of ideas, made to think and feel. Do you feel too much? Do you feel too real? This is going to be interesting to work live, this record. And I love performing. That's what I was born to do. That's where I can, that's when I am actually at my best. With mine, how I loved you once, how I loved you twice. When I'm writing my own songs, I tend to pick up what is going on around me. And I think that Before the Poison is connected to the world I'm in. So it's sort of like reportage, from my perspective, obviously.
What I fell in love with about Marianne's is her plaintive voice. I'm a sucker for a plaintive voice, and that's on all of those records. There's something about that voice that is really unique and intoxicating.
I can't really describe my character. I believe I'm very self-centered. I'm pretty selfish. I would have to be, you know, to keep going in this career for 40 years without looking right nor left. You know, I've had to be very kind of ruthless, really. And I have been. People know so much about me. You know, when people come to see me on stage, they listen to my records, we have a relationship. And I don't have to explain myself to them. They know who I am. But that's one of the things about having been working for 40 years, you know. You become like people's old friend. I know that, I don't mind. John Bryan I worked with before when we were doing those sessions with Beck. And I had this feeling that we could write something really good together, and we did. Charming, someone to feel, handsome, very much healed. With the John Bryan song, with City of Quartz, I wrote all the words and he wrote the music. That was very simple. Of Babylon, world famous clear, something to charm, danger. I find it almost very emotional that I've now been making records for 40 years. I would call myself a work in progress. And everything that has happened and every deal I've ever had and every record that I've ever made has been moving towards this one. Very much here, evil, dancing through fire. Whore of Babylon, world famous clear.